this lecture, we'll talk about the pervasive nature of IoT, the fact that IoT is everywhere. And even though you're not necessarily aware of it all the time, it's there and it's helpful, generally helpful. So not only is it everywhere, it's also networked. So it gives you access to all these abilities, all these features of things that are in the network, and it gives you access to them at all times. So it's sort of a constant connection. And so there are a lot of abilities to that, and it makes it very powerful. So first, a lot of what you can think of as IoT devices, you can see them as an interface to the cloud, right? By the cloud, I mean big, powerful compute servers that are accessed through the internet. So we'll call that the cloud. And these compute servers can do a variety of things for you. And we can see that devices, small devices, IoT devices, are basically a window to these cloud servers. So take Siri. Siri is an example we're talking about here. You can see that as a window into the cloud servers that just have gigantic databases of information. So you can ask Siri some question. It will go search for the answer inside some massive cloud database and give you the answer back. So really, your IoT device in that sense is just a window into some massive computational resource. So not everything is going on your IoT device. So say we're talking about Siri specifically. Your phone has to do some computation, speech to text, right? It has to figure out what you're saying. But the actual query that you state, that's not actually processed directly on the phone. That thing is sent to the cloud, and the cloud processes it, gives you the result, and query recites it back to you. Siri recites it back to you. So you can see that these IoT devices actually they leverage a much bigger set of servers that are available out there on the cloud if you want them to. For instance, viewing movies, say Netflix, something like that, the movies aren't sitting there on your phone or whatever the device is. The movies, your phone or whatever the IoT device is really a conduit for viewing the movie, right? You're really going to some big servers, Netflix servers. You're streaming the movie directly off of those servers. So your device is in some ways just a conduit to something much more powerful than your actual IoT device. So there are a lot of IoT devices that act in that way, that are just, access points for something much bigger out there in the cloud. So this is basically leveraging the networking features of these IoT devices. So basically just what I was saying, you can access these large databases, large computational servers to get access to whatever kind of data you want to get, and to perform things that you want to perform operations that you need to perform remotely. So IoT is also pervasive. Since networking is pervasive, IoT is pervasive, which means it is everywhere. It is embedded in devices, and you're not necessarily aware of that, but they're all over the place. And if you just look around whatever room you're in, you probably see these devices. I mean, of course, I'm staring down a camera right now, so that's an IoT device. There are cameras all over, microphones, all this, projectors, things like this. They're all in this room. My watch, my phone, they're all over the place, just helping me in various ways. So, if you look at your house, you think about inside your house how many computers you have inside of your house. Traditional computers, laptop, desktop. I probably have 4 or 5 laptop, desktop machines in my house. But if I think of how many IoT devices I have, a lot more, right? I just say my DVR, right? My fridge, my microwave oven, my TV, my game machine, right? I have several. I have a Xbox One, I have all these. My watch, my phones, my kids' phones, right? There's so many IoT devices just everywhere. Home automation systems, I do not have a home automation system, but that's a common use. Home automation systems that are connected to the network, so you've probably seen commercials on this type of thing. You can go to your cell phone and turn off your lights at home from your cell phone, things like this, right? So IoT devices are pervasive, and they're just everywhere. At work too. So at home, at work. My work, we have motion sensors in every room. For lighting, right, to save the power on lights, the lights go off if there's no motion in the room. So they have motion sensors in every room, down every hall, checking to see if something's moving and if they need to keep the lights off or on. And you've probably been in places like that. Also RFID tags. I need an RFID tag to get into my building, right? I run it past the machine, it lets me in. So there's also this type of, my phone. That's another thing. Phones nowadays, they're cell phones, but there's also even desktop phones nowadays are Internet of Things devices, right? Because these are voice over IP phones. My phone is a network phone. It sends data over the internet directly. It doesn't even use the regular phone system, it goes straight to the internet, right? So phones, everything, lots of different devices are IoT devices, even at work. Also on your person. So these things are now integrated into your body in some sense. So hopefully not too close, but health trackers, right? These things are strapped onto your wrist, and they can track heart rate, all sorts of features they can track about you, and they're strapped onto you. They are networked, so by Bluetooth, they go to the internet and maybe send that information to a server, to a global server. And if you have one of these things, like a Fitbit or something like that, you know how they work. Pacemakers, oh, those are the ultimate. Those are literally embedded within you, and they control your heart. Actually, pacemakers are quite sophisticated. They track your heart, but they can, say your heart stops, they can restart your heart. They can give you a charge, right? It's give you a shock and start that heart again automatically. And they are also networked, so you have to be able to program them, reset them periodically. So now they are usually not regularly networked, but when the doctor wants to reset it in the office, he can do that by radio. Insulin pumps, so these are common too. Actually, I knew a guy, I meant to bring one to lecture today, but I knew a guy, he had diabetes, type 2, I believe, but it was pretty severe. And you need insulin injections. What he had was a device like what you see here, where it would give the injections during the day. It would sort of inject him at the right rate. And he had to have this under his shirt. He had this device, a device like what you see in there, was taped under his shirt, and it would know how much insulin to give him on a regular basis. So he didn't have to do it, it just gave it to him. So diabetes is one of those things, it's about regulating the insulin level. So you want, your body normally does this. If your pancreas is working, it does this perfectly, right? It senses how much sugar you have in your bloodstream, it puts in insulin in the right dose to keep it level. But if your pancreas isn't working, then you have diabetes, and you need a device, an external device to do that. Now, you can do it manually, or you can have a device like these insulin pumps, which actually do it for you, and they push in the insulin at the appropriate rate. So these things are basically integrated into you, right? Now, cell phones are not integrated into you, not quite. They're not quite connected to your ear, but I know a lot of people who cannot leave their house without their cell phone, right? So you forget it, you're like, look, I gotta go home, I have to have that thing with me. So it is not physically connected, but it might as well be. All right, pervasive, so other places, not even on your person, but everywhere, on the streets, right? So I watch TV, I watch Law and Order a lot. How many times have I seen Law and Order people, the cops in Law and Order, this is TV, but using video surveillance devices, an ATM had a camera and they used that to catch the crook, right? There are devices all over the place that are surveilling us for beneficial purposes, okay? Like traffic light cams, okay? Now traffic light cams, it's beneficial, right? They gotta ticket you. I don't like it. Right? But I can see the social benefit to being able to track when somebody runs a light and giving people tickets, or else everybody would be running lights all the time, right? So that type of thing, that type of surveillance goes on all the time. Actually, in London, their traffic light cameras do more than that. They actually track your license plate numbers. So they can track criminals by looking at their license plate numbers automatically as they're going through the city. So IoT is everywhere in all sorts of devices that you interact with every day. Thank you.